Hello everyone, this is your friend Naruto Nexus 2.0 and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto awakened Kushina's divine legacy and formed new bonds with Tsunade, Shizune, Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. I beat him, Naruto thought, proud yet exhausted. Sasuke, you're coming back home. Sakura, I hope he makes you happy. As eager as his mind was to leave the Valley of the End after his big fight and triumphant victory over Sasuke, Naruto's body just did not want to comply. His legs gave up and he fell to his knees. Come on, stand up. You've got to go home. He fell forward, his hands stopping him from collapsing completely. He was breathing deeply and his vision was getting blurry. Not to mention he was lightheaded from the loss of blood from his Chidori wounds. Unknown to Naruto, he was being watched by 3 sets of eyes. Whoa, after all that he still has the energy to avoid passing out right away. Maybe it's time to take him to the next level. Oh my Kami, he did it. He nearly died, but all by himself he managed to stop that jerk. Naruto, I know you even less than I gave you credit for. Naruto-kun, you're so amazing. Before any of the watchers made a move, someone else did. That someone was Sasuke himself, returned to his normal form but his expression was that of a sadistic maniac who hated to lose. Basically, just himself but out for blood. He rose slowly, as if his muscles wanting to go on strike but he didn't care, and got up to his own knees as well. You don't know when to give up, do you, Tem? Naruto asked, wheezing but trying to get back on his own feet as well. Shut up. I will never lose to some talentless. Sasuke tried to say, thinking up the meanest possible insult he could for his former teammate, but lacking the strength to talk much. These two can't go on any longer. Before one of them actually dies, I better stop them. One of the watchers told themselves. Before they could act, Naruto stiffened and started to glow. But he didn't glow red like before, no, this time he glowed orange. Everyone stopped moving, even Sasuke, wondering what was going on. What the heck is happening to me? Kyuubi, is this you? Naruto asked himself, not sure if he was saying it out loud or not. My son, is that you? A woman's voice called out to him. What? Who are you? He asked back. Naruto could see nothing around himself except for orange light. In front of him a dark figure began to appear, just a blotchy silhouette, but he could tell it was a person. Little by little it came into focus more, and soon it started to look like a woman. More detail came, giving her long red hair, violet eyes, and a purple dress with a green shirt underneath it. Naruto didn't recognize her at all, but he could sense she was powerful but not here to fight him. When she saw him, she looked like she didn't know whether to smile, cry, or gasp. Naruto, is that really you? Yeah, I'm Naruto. How do you know me? She answered by hugging him, much to his surprise. You look just like your father, sweetie. The blonde boy was too surprised by this to object, but he did say the first thing that came to mind. You still haven't told me who you are. I'm sorry, she said, pulling away from him. It's just that I haven't seen you in so long and for the past few years all I wanted was to see you again. Now that I can, I just wanted to hold you. She explained, her warm smile and gaze never leaving her face. But she saw Naruto still wanted his answer. But before I ramble any further, my name is Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze, your birth mother. Naruto dropped his jaw and widened his eyes. My mother? He asked in disbelief. This can't be real. This has got to be a dream. Kushina lightly hit the top of his head. Does that feel like a dream, Ibane? Naruto rubbed his slightly sore spot on his scalp. Why did you do that? Wouldn't a pinch have worked just as well? True, but I doubt you would have let me do that, so I had to try something harder to avoid. I'm sorry, son. Naruto looked okay but still confused. Where have you been? Why are you just showing up now? And where did everything in Sasuke Tem go? In order, I've been trapped in another kingdom for the past few years. I'm showing up now because now is the first chance in too long a time for me to see me again. I truly wanted to be here sooner. In fact, I never wanted to leave you, but someone was a bitch and stopped me all these years. She sounded like she wanted to kill someone, just as badly as Sasuke wanted to kill his brother. And we're actually speaking in your mind right now, so that's why you can't see anything else. I'd say outside here only a couple of seconds have actually passed. So technically you're not really here? Naruto asked. Kushina sadly nodded. No, this is a sort of astral project to allow me to find you. Very soon though my real self will come to you directly. I just wanted to know where to go once I'm back in Midgard. Midgard. I'll explain more later. Just stay where you are and I'll come to you as soon as possible, son. Remember, I still love you and I never stopped. You're what's been keeping me going all this time. Right now the vision started to fade away. Wait, Mom, don't go. Naruto shouted, extending his hand out. She took it gently as if to reassure him she could come for him, but she faded away completely. Back out in the real world, the glow faded and Naruto collapsed like a puppet without strings. Well, that was weird, Sasuke commented. He eyed a stray kunai left during the battle and picked it up. I guess I better kill him before he does that or that weird red thing either. All of a sudden, 3 figures came out of hiding and landed not that far from the traitorous Uchiha. He immediately recognized 2 of them, but the third was someone he never bothered to notice. Drop the kunai, Sasuke. You're coming home with us. Kakashi, both eyes visible, told his once favored student. He then briefly glanced at the 2 others without losing his focus on Sasuke. Girls, what are you 2 doing here? Hokage-sama told me and Hinata to follow you, in case you decided to ignore your mission and follow these 2. Sakura answered and Hinata nodded, her angry Byakugan-enhanced glare focused on Sasuke, who had yet to lose his weapon. She was apparently right to worry you would act this way. If you interfere, I'm going to kill you all too. Sasuke warned. Sakura glared at him. Give it up, Sasuke. You're outnumbered and worn out from fighting Naruto. Even you must realize the odds are against you. Sasuke was mad they were calling his bluff. He figured he could easily get rid of Sakura, maybe struggle to beat the Hyuga but still beat her, but there was no way he could defeat Kakashi in this state. No matter how he looked at it, he had lost. Angry at such a circumstance, the young Sharingan user tightened his grip on his kunai. At least I can kill the Dobi and prove I'm still stronger than him. Moving it quick as he can, which wasn't as fast as he would have preferred, Sasuke tried to drive the kunai into Naruto's neck for his token victory. Before he could get close, he saw out of the corner of his eyes Kakashi create a Raikiri, no doubt to use on him. Thinking quickly and using some of the last bits of chakra he had, Sasuke waited until the moment Kakashi lunged at him and did a Kawarimi. Kakashi, Sakura, and Hinata were horrified to see Sasuke made Naruto take his place for the attack, resulting in Naruto getting another life-threatening wound. Maybe one too many for even the Kyuubi to help heal. By substituting with Naruto, Sasuke ended up putting himself on the ground and tried to get back up. However, he was stopped by a very unexpected obstacle, Sakura's fist to his head, followed by Hinata's Juken. Kakashi ignored the 2 angry girls in favor of trying to keep Naruto alive. The way he saw it, nothing short of a miracle could save Naruto right now, but he had to try. As he tried using what little medical jutsu he had copied in his life, Kakashi ntoiced 2 things at work on Naruto's injuries. The first was red chakra, obviously from the Kyuubi, trying to stop Naruto from bleeding to death and repair the cellular damage, and a strange orange chakra working on the wounds too, as if reinforcing the red chakra. I don't understand this, but if it increases Naruto's odds of living by even 1%, I won't stop it. The Cycloptic Junin thought as he continued to help in his own way. Meanwhile, Sakura and Hinata looked like they were trying to bring Sasuke closer to death instead. They stopped after he stopped resisting, allowing them to see he was unconscious. Both girls panted heavily, their adrenaline rush wearing off. Sakura smiled at Hinata. Not bad, Hinata. I just hope Naruto being in danger is the only thing that can get you this driven in a fight. Thank you, Sakura-san. The shy girl replied. If you don't mind my asking, why exactly were you attacking Sasuke-san too? I thought you were so fond of him. The Pinkett looked upset and lost eye contact with the Hyuga heiress. I'll tell you later. It's a long story and we need to get Naruto and Sasuke back. She then came up to her sensei with Hinata following. Kakashi-sensei, is Naruto okay? I'm not sure, but he's healing. Someone up there must like him. Hinata leaned down and gently kissed Naruto, much to the surprise of the others. He's still warm and returned it, so he's going to be fine. She said happily with tears in her eyes. Looks like I'm not the only one with a long story to tell, huh, Hinata? Sakura commented with a friendly tone, causing Hinata to blush. Not now, girls. We need to take these two home before Naruto gets worse. Kakashi said as he created a clone to pick up Sasuke while he picked up Naruto. The girls nodded, and soon everyone headed back to Konoha. Far away from the Valley of the End, there was a gigantic tree surrounded by many big ones, but they looked puny by comparison. There was something unusual about this tree, but it was something no one could put their finger on. It was almost unworldly, something monks would call divine and ninja would call a chakra anomaly. This tree felt like it had its own chakra system, a biological impossibility since chakra was only created by animals and people. And if that wasn't odd enough, the chakra from the tree did not feel like ordinary chakra. It was an unclassified type. For this reason, everyone agreed to leave this strange tree alone. No one was anywhere near the tree right now, which was a good thing. Because right then some of the bark began to move like some sort of sheet. Soon a hole was revealed, a black gap so dark nothing could be seen inside it. But a moment later, there were a few small lights like stars glowing, and a hand came out, followed by a head, then the rest of a body. I'm back, Kushina said as the hole behind her closed. How long has it been? Naruto was only supposed to be 6 years old. Not old enough to be a genin. What happened? Damn that woman for making me take so long to get back to this realm. And damn her for taking me from it in the first place. She sighed and shook her head. That's not important. I need to see my baby now, even if he's not a baby anymore. He needs to know who and what he is, and will be. Before not knowing kills him. Without saying another word, Kushina was immediately on the move. After running as fast as they could with 2 unconscious tag-alongs, Kakashi, Sakura, and Hinata finally made it back to Konoha. A few other search parties had already gone out to locate the other members of Shikamaru's team and brought them back, making this group the last to return. Choji and Neji were in the worst condition, with Tsunade herself overseeing Choji's treatment and Shizune overseeing Neji's. Kiba and Lee both needed to stay in the hospital 1 night, maybe 2, to recuperate, and Shikamaru's finger injury was already treated enough that he was only still the hospital by choice now, since he was waiting to hear how his friends were. Because of this, the staff was stretched a bit when Kakashi came to the hospital, but he got a hold of an unprejudiced doctor who would stabilize Naruto before he got worse. Kakashi, Sakura, and Hinata refused to leave the room until they got a sign that Naruto was in the clear or not. Kakashi's clone took Sasuke to the prison hospital, since they would be the best at ensuring he didn't get out anytime soon under his own power. The clone even left orders to keep him locked up until Kakashi or Tsunade said otherwise and to disregard any orders from anyone else. Naruto was bandaged, stitched, connected to tubes and machines, and unconscious, but by some unfathomable reason, he was still alive and even breathing under his own power. Well, he should be in the clear now. All that's left to do is keep him nourished and on painkillers, and wait until he wakes up. He'll probably feel like hell, but at least he'll be alive. The doctor told the others. Thank you, doctor. I hope you don't mind us waiting here for him to wake up. Kakashi replied. No problem. Now, I think I've earned a coffee break. Bye, the doctor said before leaving. The three shinobi turned to Naruto, as if they thought he would open his eyes any second now. So far that was not happening. An hour later Tsunade had a free moment and decided to go check on Naruto, whom one of the nurses informed her was brought in and stabilized but showed no activity. When she got to the room, she saw Kakashi, Sakura, and Hinata sitting around keeping an eye on Naruto, each with a drink in their hands. Please tell me how Naruto is. She started. By all facts, he should be dead, but somehow is still alive. Kakashi answered. I don't understand it, but I am certainly glad it's true. Tsunade's eyes widened, and she immediately began a diagnostic scan jutsu over the blonde boy. His pulse is steady, he has some broken bones that are mending, some torn muscles that are doing the same. She paused, looking like she was now seeing something rather unpleasant. Signs of damage to internal organs. Missing epidermis on multiple areas on the torso but lower layers of skin growing in. Low blood pressure. What happened to him? Did someone drive a pike through his chest? Not exactly a pike, but yes. Kakashi regretfully admitted. And, it was done 3 times. 3 times? Tsunade shouted, causing Sakura and Hinata to jump back. Kakashi sadly nodded, unable to make eye contact. Sasuke used the Chidori technique, something I regret teaching him, on Naruto twice, and, he tricked me into striking him a 3rd time. Tsunade had never seen the technique, but on her trip back to Konoha Naruto had described it to her as a lightning sword his sensei used for close-range kills. He sounded like he hoped to learn it once they got back to Konoha. Tell me where the bastard is so I can punish him accordingly. Few had any doubt what exactly she had in mind. He's in the prison hospital right now with the caretakers there ordered to place him in a cell once he's stable. Kakashi answered. You should know Hokage-sama, I saw a strange chakra at work in Naruto's wounds, and I don't mean the chakra you're thinking of. This was a completely different one. Tsunade was instantly alerted, and glanced over towards Sakura and Hinata. Could you two please leave the room for a moment? This is going to be a classified talk. The girls nodded and left the room. Tsunade looked back at the one-eyed Junin. Continue. Evening came and Tsunade was worn out. The last thing she wanted to deal with was an emergency council meeting that she didn't even order. In fact, she was strongly tempted to use her Hokage authority to call it off and tell them all to wait a night on whatever it was they wanted to yammer on about. There was only one thing that made her want to go now in the first place. The summons note, which read, Tsunade Senju, you are hereby ordered to attend a council meeting at 6 p.m. tonight and drop whatever previously scheduled distractions you may have at said time. Failure to comply is not an option and will result in penalization. Tsunade was pissed and offended to read that. To think someone had the audacity to actually order her around as a subordinate and not even leave a name for themselves. Whoever sent this needed to be taken off their high horse and have said horse shot, and that alone was why Tsunade was going in the first place. She got there and saw everyone else was there too and talking in a heated debate. Hiyashi, Shikaku, Tsume, and Shuza looked like she felt irritated and wishing they were anywhere else, preferably with those who were still in treatment. Some of the other members on both sides looked irritated too, like they agreed that this could have waited another day. One of the civilians saw the slug Sanin approach. Hokage-sama, is it true that the fox has already endangered the lives of several of our shinobi? Tsunade sent out so much killing intent right then it almost felt like she was trying to summon the Manda equivalent of the slugs. Listen good everyone, I am not in a good mood right now. I do not appreciate being interrupted when I'm working to save people's lives. I do not appreciate people ordering me, the Hokage, around like they outrank me and demanding I attend meetings that I did not call. And I do not appreciate those meetings starting before I even show up. She paused to glare at each and every person there. Now, first thing first, Who here thinks they can demand I show up here or get punished if I refused? No one answered, prompting Tsunade to cross her arms. That oh so kindly worded request didn't write itself, people. Answer me now. Still no one answered. Fine. Since no one here has got the balls to admit it, give me one damn good reason why I shouldn't declare this meeting adjourned. Summoning up their courage, Homura spoke first after clearing his throat. Hokage-sama, not to make light of the grave insult to your authority, but there is a subject being discussed already that you should help settle. He paused until he was certain he had her attention. It has come to our attention that the mission to retrieve Sasuke Uchiha from the clutches of Orochimaru was a success, but there is question regarding if Naruto Uzumaki went too far to ensure success here. Some of the civilians looked like they wanted to shout out derogatory comments about Naruto, but held their tongues since Tsunade was already ready to beat the crap out of someone who crossed her. A wise choice, since her next choice of words were quite angry. How exactly did this come to your attention? We asked our friends in the Anbu about why 4 genin, 1 chunin, and a couple of junin were sent out of the village all of a sudden. Kaharu answered. Tsunade frowned. Anbu reports are confidential and not meant to be open access to anyone who happens to ask. We heard that the demon brat took the last Uchiha out of Konoha to kill him and pretended to be part of the search party to avoid suspicions. Is that true, Hokage-sama? Another civilian asked, changing the subject. Tsunade glared. Let me guess, you're either assuming that, or you heard that from someone you know full well hates Naruto. Doesn't anyone here actually want to hear the truth, or does everyone just want to speculate and rant anti-Naruto propaganda? No one answered, but everyone did look curious about the details of the mission. Tsunade, still irritated, decided to get this over with. Now, since everyone's so damn curious, here's the real facts about what just happened. Now, during a strange breach of security, 4 Junin-level shinobi from Orochimaru's forces came to Sasuke Uchiha and convinced him to go with them to Orochimaru's side. Once I learned of this, I sent out a team of Junin ninja to intercept them, but also requested Chunin Shikamaru Nara to assemble a second team to stop Orochimaru's men and bring the Uchiha back. Today I learned they succeeded in their objective, but several of those involved are undergoing major medical care to stabilize them, so we cannot currently gain more details on what happened on the field. So the Uzumaki boy is not to blame for all this? One of the more sensible civilians asked. She was a middle-aged brunette wearing a yellow shirt. The civilian next to her, an older man with a pot belly and black hair, looked at her angrily. You're an idiot if you believe that, Shinju. Can you really believe that 4 enemy ninja got in and out of the village without being noticed, and got taken down one by mere genin, and that the last Uchiha would desert the village his ancestors helped to create? She glared back at him. It makes more sense than the Uzumaki boy betraying us now by after fighting for us during the invasion rather than against us, or that the Uchiha would leave the village simply because one person annoyed him. If you all admit he's petty enough to leave the village because he can't stand being one-upped, then why do you respect him so much? Sasuke Uchiha is not petty. He was abducted. A different civilian shouted. Then why are people accusing Naruto of being responsible if you admit that? Shikaku asked. Kaharu was the one to answer. We found out that Sasuke is now the prison hospital. Clearly he was unfairly attacked, and Shikamaru says Naruto was the one to go after him personally after the others in the group were occupied elsewhere. Are you unaware that Naruto himself is in the hospital too? And suffered 3 direct Chidori hits. A move known only to Kakashi Hatake, and Sasuke Uchiha. Tsunade asked. Why is he not dead yet? One of the civilians asked. He should be executed for endangering the Uchiha like this. There were a few murmurs of agreement, but before it could grow into a large cry for Naruto's death, Tsunade slammed her hand again. Where the hell do you get off making such a demand? By all accounts, you're punishing him for doing his job. His job was to bring Sasuke back, not to endanger him. Kaharu countered. Tsunade glared at the older woman. Sasuke had no restraints against endangering Naruto. So was Naruto not allowed to defend himself or subdue Sasuke with force if he refused to comply. Sum snarled at the civilians trying to come up with an excuse to justify the situation the way they wanted to see it as. Enough, you idiots. If Sasuke actually wanted to come back like you think, then why didn't he fight back against the Oto Nin? You all claim he's the best in his age group, yet nothing was done until we sent out other genin to do something about it. So you have to admit Sasuke's either not as strong than you give him credit for, or he was trying to get away with them. Even so, Naruto Uzumaki must still be punished for what he did. One of the more stubborn civilians stated. Tsunade was even madder now. That is not the point, and I think you all are deliberately missing that to avoid the real issue here. On what grounds do you have to justify such a course of action? We need to make it clear to the boy that we will not tolerate him using the fox's power to endanger our more prominent shinobi. The same civilian replied. Tsunade arched an eyebrow. And what gives you reason to believe Naruto used any of the fox's chakra in the first place? How else could he survive having 3 terrible wounds when one alone is enough to kill? The sand-using boy from Suna survived one, and we all know he's a Masanter, so how else do you justify the QB brat still breathing? Why isn't someone killing him right now so we can be done with the son of a bitch once and for all? A different civilian bitterly asked. Tsunade punched the wall, creating a large crater. First of all, Naruto will not be punished for doing his job, which was to bring Sasuke Uchiha back by any means necessary. Punishing him for that will accomplish nothing other than creating hostility in all the ninja, who will fear what they may have to endure if they succeed or fail their own missions. Second of all, Shikamaru Nara was the one in charge of the team and gave Naruto the order to go after Sasuke solo while he and all the other members were otherwise unable to continue on their objective. That does not deserve punishment, but if you're so damn convinced it does, then Shikamaru Nara deserves punishment too, since as team leader he is responsible for what the team does. She cast Shikaku a glance to show she didn't agree with this but needed to get the point across. The Nara head understood completely. Danzo surprised everyone by being the next to speak. Hokage-sama is completely right. Naruto Uzumaki should be reminded to better control himself, and maybe some measures should be taken to help ensure that, but downright punishing him will cause more trouble than good. That shut the civilians up. Danzo had always been sympathetic to their needs and concerns, but if he refused to take their side they lost a big factor in getting the results they wanted. He in fact was one of the biggest reasons they never got any ninja to actually kill Naruto, since he needed Naruto alive in order to use him. Tsunade looked relieved. Good, now that that's settled, Sasuke Uchiha does deserve punishment as he was not under orders and acted against the village. Whether you believe he left voluntarily or not, he was close to being acquired by Orochimaru and thus having the Sharingan used against Konoha. It's likely that the snake will send more for him, so Sasuke needs to be kept out of sight to prevent anyone from taking him or him being able to leave a second time. The shinobi all saw the wisdom in that while the civilians found it hard to argue that. I will determine Sasuke's punishment after hearing from the retrieval team to get all the facts in. If anyone tries acting before I declare anything official on anyone involved, they will be imprisoned for the rest of their life without bail or parole. No exceptions. Now, unless there's anything else on the agenda, I'm going to end this. Tsunade continued. No one said anything. Good. Now go home, people. Kushina arrived at the Valley of the End. Naruto's been moved, she said, not seeing him anywhere nearby or even detecting any traces of him other than his blood on the ground. Someone was here and took him away. Probably back to Konoha. I guess I better go there. Damn, it'll take me till noon tomorrow at least to get there. Still eager to see her son as soon as possible, she headed in the direction Konoha was. After a few minutes, she had to stop. What's this? You wished to see me? A male voice asked, his face hidden from view by a mask and most of his upper body obscured by shadows. All that could be clearly seen of him were his black pants and blue open-toed shinobi boots. Yes. To put it simple, we want Tsunade out of office now. One of the three people meeting this hidden man said. She is not doing her duties properly and is turning blind eyes to the real threats while calling others threats instead. A second person added. And if that wasn't bad enough, she's trying to give the shinobi ideas that they don't have to work for the civilians, but rather we must submit to them. The nerve of her. The shinobi are here to be our servants, not the other way around. The third voice stated. You are aware that I'm a shinobi, right? The hidden man replied. Why should I do as you ask and turn against the strongest one in the village just because some cowards are afraid of her? His tone clearly showed he wasn't against the idea, but he was going to require some incentive before he did as asked. The first voice sighed. Every shinobi is a mercenary, meaning pay the right price and they'll do anything. They held out a bag full of Ryo coins and bills, easily full with 2 years' pay for a junin. The hidden man took the sack and checked to ensure it wasn't a fake bribe created by a genjutsu. Such a thing was not uncommon in underhanded situations such as this. I think I can work something out. Though be aware that I will not be able to act until tomorrow. An operation such as this requires careful strategy, not impulse, and more manpower than I alone can provide. The second person nodded. Do what you must. Just ensure Tsunade is out of the picture and the Kyuubi brat is in hell where he belongs. We will take care of the rest. Late at night, Naruto finally opened his eyes. Where am I? He quietly asked as he rubbed the sleep out of his eyes, not fully aware of his surroundings. Glad to see you're awake, Naruto. Kakashi's voice was heard. Kakashi-sensei? Naruto asked, his sight coming into focus. He saw he was in a hospital room resting on a bed with an IV attached to his right arm, and apparently something covering his right eye completely. Kakashi was seated beside him reading a book under a lamp, and strangely enough, Sakura and Hinata were seated in 2 guest chairs alongside the wall. They looked like they had been asleep but were now waking up from the noise. Try not to move too much, Naruto. You don't want to open your wounds, especially those types. Kakashi told him, then looked remorseful. I'm terribly sorry about adding to them. I never thought that Sasuke would do such a horrendous thing. What did he do? Naruto asked. He doesn't remember. The shock and the passing out must have made him forget. The Junin thought. Before he could answer Naruto's question, one of the girls embraced him in a hug. Naruto-kun. Naruto winced. Ah, not so tight. Hinata loosened her hold but did not relinquish it. Her body lightly trembled and sobs could be heard. I was so worried you weren't going to make it. Naruto began to soothingly rub her back. It's okay, Hinata-chan, I'm alright. The Hyuga heiress surprised Kakashi and a now awake Sakura by leaning up and kissing him again, and Naruto did not react like this was out of the ordinary for them. Sakura smiled but felt her heart clench. I guess I waited a bit too long. Naruto, I hope you're happy with Hinata. Naruto seemed to now notice Sakura was in the room too and looked a bit nervous. Oh, hi Sakura. I thought you would be home or with Sasuke now. The Pinkett shook her head. No, I wanted to make sure you were going to wake up before I left, and even if I wanted to I couldn't see Sasuke right now anyway. Naruto was confused. Sakura just referred to Sasuke without the kun suffix and said she wasn't able to see him or even interested in it. Why? What happened? Naruto, what's the last thing you remember? Kakashi asked. Naruto thought it over. I fought Sasuke and beat him, though he didn't know when to quit. But before everything goes dark, I could have sworn I saw a woman claiming to be my mother. Your mother? His 3 visitors repeated. Yeah, the weird thing was she said her name was Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze. Namikaze? Like the Yondaime. Naruto said. It had to be some sort of trick. Like I ever could be related to a guy like the Yondaime. Kakashi immediately stiffened for a moment, something only Sakura noticed. Kakashi-sensei, is something wrong? Realizing his mistake, but knowing he can't ignore the question, The former Anbu captain quickly thought over how best to answer. I was just surprised, because the Yondaime did have a girlfriend named Kushina Uzumaki. Really? Naruto asked, caught off guard by this. Could this mean that wasn't a trick? Was she really my mother? Naruto, where did you hear that name? Kakashi asked. Just how informed is he? I thought he still didn't know who either of his parents were. Kakashi was well aware of who sired and birthed Naruto. Being the last student of Minato Namikaze did have its advantages. He knew his sensei was secretly married, he was one of the witnesses to it. He also was one of Naruto's protectors, ensuring those that wanted to do harm to the boy growing up would not succeed. His only obstacle was that he was not allowed to raise Naruto without news of Naruto's parentage being required to be public to settle the nosy public, and Sarutobi would not allow that. As long as Naruto was anonymous, he was relatively safe. As a Namikaze, he was a target to everyone, especially the mysterious person Minato said attacked during Naruto's birth. That concerned Sarutobi more than Iwa. If Iwa invaded, Konoha would fight back to defend themselves and save Minato's son. But if the masked man who knew about Kushina and the Kyuubi came back, that was too unpredictable for the Sandame's likings. After the fight, when all I could see for some reason was an orange light. A woman with long red hair and violet eyes came to me and called me her son. She told me her name and said she was coming back to me. Naruto answered. She also sounded a little upset, saying something like someone she didn't like kept her away all this time and she thought she'd be here sooner. Wait, is it possible Kushina didn't die that night? Kakashi asked himself. But then, where did she go? And why is it only now she can come back? Naruto, if this woman does show up, promise me you won't go anywhere with her until I get a chance to speak with her. Do you know her? Naruto asked. I did know a woman by that name, but she's been dead for a long time. If this somehow is her, I want to know. Was she really Naruto's mother sensei? Sakura asked. Even Hinata looked curious to know. Kakashi withheld the need to sigh. I'm afraid I'm forbidden from saying anything. Naruto's origins are kept unclear for a reason I'm not at liberty to say. But if this woman does show up, I suppose that reason will become moot. Naruto and his visitors soon went back to sleep and stayed with him that night. Hinata had to reluctantly let go of him and sleep in a chair. In the morning, Kakashi had to go check on Sasuke to make sure he wasn't anywhere he wasn't supposed to be. Sakura and Hinata didn't have anywhere to be, so they stayed with Naruto and played a few available games. For a brief time they did leave so Hinata could check on Kiba and Sakura could check on Lee, but both came back. The entire time they were there, Hinata was not ashamed to be close to Naruto and he did nothing to keep her away. Sakura was still confused but avoided asking anything so they wouldn't begin to feel bad about what they were doing. But the strangest thing of all was she found herself feeling a bit jealous. Not an angry territorial jealous like she felt when Ino got around Sasuke, but more of a yearning desire to be treated special by Naruto too. She didn't understand it, but she did know that for some reason Naruto actually felt a bit more appealing to her. Night came and this time the two girls had to go home. Fortunately Tsunade declared that was the day he could go home too. She didn't understand how, but Naruto was almost completely healed of his injuries. The only abnormality was a strange condensation of orange chakra at the base of Naruto's spine that Hinata pointed out. Tsunade couldn't make any sense of it and wanted one more look tomorrow morning, but as long as it wasn't doing anything she saw no reason it would keep him in the hospital. Naruto laid awake in his bed, wondering about the possibility of seeing his real mother again. There were so many questions he had for her. Where did she go? Why did she go? Why couldn't she take him with her? Was she really the wife of the Yondaime, making him his son too? Did she love him? And, what was her favorite flavor of ramen? Naruto was currently looking out the window as the sun was setting, as if hoping his mother would come in through the window like Jiraiya was known to. Oddly enough, The pervy sage hadn't shown up yet. Probably just busy looking at girls, trying to see their nice wet. Whoa, where did that come from? A knock at his door was a welcome distraction. Come in, he said. The door opened and two girls walked in. One was older than him and the other younger, and the younger immediately came up to him. Boss. Hey Moegi, nice to see you. I heard from Konohamaru and Udon you were busy when they came by earlier. Naruto told his follower. I'm glad to see you're doing better, Naruto. His other visitor stated. He saw this was Moegi's mother, whom he's seen off and on throughout town. Hi Shinju-san. Thanks for coming by. Though would the other honorable civilians get mad at you for seeing me? Oh screw them. It's not like I need their permission for anything. Besides, my daughter's allowed to see her rescuer. Shinju told him teasingly. She knew her daughter admired Naruto, but ever since before the Chunin exams when a disguised Iruka kidnapped her and Naruto saved her, Moegi seemed to admire him almost to a Hinata degree. Shinju thought it was cute given her age, and saw no harm in the young girl liking Naruto. It probably wouldn't last, and she could do worse. Oh, before I forget, the real reason I came by was because I was given this by one of the other council members. Shinju added before pulling out an envelope. I mentioned I was going to see you tonight, and one of them asked me to give this to you. I thought it was weird since given their attitude most of them don't want to give you anything less than death, but I took it and brought it here. Naruto took it. Naruto, before you open it, could you maybe make a clone and have it open the letter away from here? Just in case it contains a bomb or anthrax or something like that. Naruto nodded and created a clone. When he did, he noticed his chakra acted a bit weird this time, but he brushed it off. The clone went outside to an empty training ground and opened the envelope. There were no explosives or dangerous substances inside, but after reading the contents, the clone was so shocked and offended that it lost its balance when running back and it tripped and landed hard enough to be dispelled. Naruto immediately got the clone's memories and gasped. Those bastards. What is it? Both Moegi and Shinju asked. Naruto threw off his blanket and rushed to get dressed in a spare jumpsuit Kakashi had brought him. I need to get out of here and to Ba-chan before they get started. In his rush, he completely ignored the fact he didn't know why he had his clone's memories. Tsunade was sound asleep in her house, with Shizune in the next room. Fortunately, years of experience as a Sannin and a lack of heavy drinking allowed Tsunade to still be alert when sleeping. She opened her eyes the moment the window downstairs was opened. Someone's trying to get in, and my gut tells me it's not Jiraiya hoping to see me in my nightgown. She told herself, silently getting on her feet and putting her gambler's jacket over her white nightie. She wouldn't open her bedroom door, knowing the sound would alert the intruder and make them act faster. At the same time, she was cautious that this might be a diversion and the real problem would come from behind. Soon there was no noise, and that made Tsunade all the more unsettled. Okay, either a silencer jutsu has just been performed, or they're not being careless. Either way, it's ninja who know what they're doing and they're in the Hokage's house. This cannot go unpunished. Not wanting to scare them off, because she can't prosecute them if they escape, Tsunade, as careful as humanly possible, opened her door and got into the hall. The first thing she saw was Shizune, just as alert and dressed in a pair of black pajamas with a nervous tauntaun at her feet. The two women made eye contact and nodded, both knowing what to do. Now it feels like a waiting game. We're both waiting for the other to make a move so we can retaliate as desired. Tsunade thought after noticing there still was no sound. She was getting impatient. Well, I'm not going to wait forever for something to happen. Fortunately, she didn't have to. As soon as he reached the house, Naruto was concerned. The door was wide open and there were Anbu posted around the perimeter, not a good sign. He instinctively came to a stop before they could see him. Shinju and Moegi were following him but hadn't caught up yet since they didn't have his stamina. Damn, they're starting already. Well, not on my watch. Naruto angrily thought. The spot on his lower back was starting to burn, but he ignored it. Instead, he made a large amount of clones, aggravating the spot more so, and sent them in. The Anbu were caught by surprise, but only one was taken down. The others started fighting off the clones and killing them, but the numbers never seemed to cease. Fortunately, Naruto didn't plan on them beating the Anbu, instead they were there to distract them while he snuck inside. With so many Narutos around, no one could tell for certain which was the real one, who happened to be one of 3 that made it inside the building. Inside the main room of the house were 3 Anbu, all 3 looking upset to see him. Ba-chan, someone's trying to, one of the clones shouted out, only to be killed by a thrown kunai. You shouldn't be interfering, boy. The center Anbu, the only one wearing a white outfit instead of a black one and having the Anbu insignia on his vest too, said to Naruto with disdain. He wore a mask that looked like some kind of rodent with stripes. The one on his left bore some kind of bird pattern, and the one on his right looked like some kind of lizard. Like hell I won't. I saw the message from the council. You're here to hurt the Hokage. The other Naruto clone said. This time the Anbu didn't attack, uncertain if this would be worth it. This is none of your business. The Hokage has proven she is unfit for the job and the council has voted to remove her from office. Village law says the council can remove the Hokage from office if they have reason to believe they're abusing their power. The white Anbu told the blonde. Both Narutos looked madder. Like hell. I know that law, Gigi told me about it. The council has to vote unanimously for such a thing with both sides. And I doubt the clan heads were even asked, otherwise more than just the Anbu would be here. And I know for a fact one civilian member did not vote for this. You're breaking the law and you know it. Oh, shut up, you beast. The bird Anbu said before throwing a kunai at both. One dispelled but the other Kawaramite with one of Tsunade's cushions, putting him behind the trio. Naruto lunged forward and threw a punch at the nearest Anbu, the lizard one. He blocked it, but Naruto added a kick to his stomach for added measure. It stunned him, but the other 2 members rushed in with weapons ready to gut Naruto like a fish. Before they could, Tsunade came forward and punched them both. Get the hell out of my house. And consider yourself fired. Tsunade shouted to the Anbu. Ba-chan, you okay? Naruto asked. Yeah, I heard the whole thing. Now let's get rid of these bastards. Tsunade said, cracking her knuckles. The white Anbu tried to get up, but Tsunade grabbed his vest and lifted him up as Shizune came into the room. You're the head of the Anbu. Correction, former head. Tell me who put you up to this and I might go easy on you. The Anbu head just laughed this off. Go to hell, demon lover. You're still under arrest for leaving the village all those years and refusing to listen to the voices of the council. That shows your loyalty to Konoha is questionable and you're ignoring the needs and concerns of the civilians. You are going to be removed from office even if you stop me here, and you will be kept away to breed more senju. More sensible, obedient senju, that is. He finished with another laugh. Tsunade punched him right in the jaw. If his jaw or neck wasn't broken now, nothing would break it. Before she could do more, a scream outside could be heard, catching the attentions of Naruto, Tsunade, and Shizune. Since it was a woman's scream, Naruto headed back out. He was mortified to see that the gathered Anbu that hadn't gone chasing after some of Naruto's clones now had Moegi and her mother in holds with kunais at both their necks. Naruto glared, his eyes turned red with black slits, and red chakra forming around him. But this time, there was orange mixed in with the red, with nothing but orange at the base of his spine, noticeable only by Tsunade and Shizune at the moment. Let them go now. How about I do this instead? The Anbu holding Shinju said before thrusting his kunai into the back of her neck. Take that, demon supporting bitch. Mom, Moegi screamed, trying to kick herself loose. Fortunately her own captor wasn't as eager to kill. Naruto froze up, then got mad enough that his own tail cloak was starting to form with fangs and claws included. But unlike the last time, this time the chakra tail was entirely orange, no red at all. What's going on? Tsunade asked regarding the strange orange chakra. Shinju looked at the enraged Jinchuriki. Naruto, keep my daughter safe. Moegi, I love you. She closed her eyes and coughed up some blood. Moegi broke down in sobs, while Naruto jumped at the Anbu who murdered her defenseless mother. Using chakra claws, he ripped the masked man's head off with little effort. He turned his gaze towards the Anbu holding Moegi. He let the young girl go and escaped. Moegi ran to her mother, checking for any sign of life. Naruto dropped his cloak and checked with her. Neither found any, causing Moegi to sob into the blonde's shoulder as he held her comfortingly. Shizune gasped. Tsunade-sama, do you see what I see? She asked, pointing at Naruto with a shaky hand. Tsunade nodded. Naruto now had a tail. Not a chakra tail, but a dark-colored flesh tail with a spearhead tip. Naruto now had a tail. Not a chakra tail, but a dark-colored flesh tail with a spearhead tip. And he didn't even seem to notice it. Shizune whispered to Tsunade. Milady, I know Shizune, but right now we've got a bigger problem. For instance, where are all the other Anbu? This clearly was not the entire force, so if this was only a fraction, then why didn't anyone intervene? For that matter, why is no one appearing right now to see what happened? Shizune gasped, thinking it over. You're right. What's going on? Tsunade stepped forward. Naruto, she called out, gaining the boy's attention. Help me take her body to the hospital. And create as many clones as you can and find every Anbu and clan head you can. Tell them I sent you and see how they react. Gather all the non-traitorous ones and bring them to the hospital. We need to see who all is still on my side here. Naruto nodded and let go of Moegi before creating hundreds of clones that ran out in every possible direction. He turned to help Tsunade carefully lift Shinju's body, making Moegi gasp. Boss, when did you get a tail? A tail? Naruto repeated, completely clueless to her question. I don't have a tail. Then what's that behind you? Moegi asked. Naruto felt his backside and quickly found a new appendage. What the hell? Where did that come from? I'll have to check that out too, but for now let's focus on her. Tsunade said, picking up Shinju. I don't think I can save her, but if there's a chance I better try. Naruto ignored his new feature and helped Tsunade take the civilian councilwoman's body to the hospital with Shizune and Moegi following. I'm serious, Ino. Sasuke was trying to kill Naruto. Sakura told her friend, both girls inside the Yamanake flower shop. Ino's parents were out on a date that night, so this felt like a good spot as any to have a talk. Really? But why? Wasn't Naruto sent out to save Sasuke-kun? Ino asked. He was. But the problem was Sasuke didn't want to be rescued. I saw it, Ino. Sasuke had a chance to come home. He was away from Orochimaru's henchmen and there was no one stopping him, but he chose to fight Naruto instead. He even used that lightning jutsu he used in the Chunin exams on Naruto twice. That move is an assassination move, so why would he use it in a friendly spar? He even tried using it on Naruto here in town before he left too. Sasuke honestly wanted Naruto dead. Ino was appalled. But why would he do that? I mean, Naruto may not be the easiest person to be around, but I wouldn't say he deserves to die. I think Sasuke's jealous of Naruto, Sakura suggested. Ino arched an eyebrow. Sasuke-kun, jealous of Naruto? Why? Why else would he feel so compelled to beat Naruto? It's not like he would get rewarded for it. The way I see it, Sasuke wants to beat Naruto just to reassure himself he can, and that could only mean he's jealous or threatened by Naruto. The Pinkett said. But why would he be like that? Ino asked. Ino, Naruto's a better person than we give him credit for. I mean, there is a reason Hinata likes him so much. Oh, you're not going to believe this, but apparently Naruto and Hinata are an item now. What? Ino came close to screaming. How? When? Why? I don't know. I never got a chance to ask either of them. I didn't want to make them feel scrutinized while they were having such a good time together. But I think it was soon, since Naruto has been rather aloof to me lately. Even when I was on that date with him to talk to him, he acted like he wasn't all there. Wait a minute. You actually went on a date with Naruto? Ino asked. Sakura looked down, saddened. Kind of. It was more like a meal between friends so we could talk, but I called it a date to get Naruto to agree to it. If he wasn't already with Hinata by then, I certainly didn't give him any reason not to, and if he was, he probably didn't know how to turn me down. Ino could sense the remorse in her friend's voice. What happened? Sakura was a bit hesitant to answer. I was confused about Sasuke and hoped that by talking to Naruto about it he could help me know what I wanted. He tried to reassure me that Sasuke wouldn't do anything wrong, but I don't think either one of us really believed that. After that he cut it short. He probably saw that I had other things on my mind than spending time with him and felt hurt. I don't know, but I feel like maybe I hurt him. So, Naruto will get over it and be back to his normal self in no time. Don't beat yourself over it, forehead. The blonde mindwalker callously commented. The pinkett lightly frowned at her friend. That was uncalled for, pig. Ino frowned back. Well, why do you care so much? You never cared how Naruto felt before, so why now? I've seen you hit him like it's a reflex. And now his feelings are hurt and suddenly you feel bad. Before we get to my attitude, let's cover yours. Sakura jerked back a bit but didn't argue. Instead she looked remorseful again. You're right, I'm a horrible friend. But at least I've learned to admit it and am willing to change it. Would you do the same, Ino? Ino shrugged. Why should I? Naruto's never been my friend. I don't hate the guy, but I've never even said more than one sentence to him at a time. Why should that change now? Because someday you may have to work with Naruto and depend on him for something like I have. Do you really want there to be a wedge between you when it happens? Sakura asked back. Ino was confused by this sudden new attitude Sakura had. Sakura, since when do you care what Naruto thinks? I mean, Sasuke-kun's the only boy you would even give the time of day to, and even last week he was the only boy you mentioned by name without someone else bringing them up first. So why now the change of heart? You really want to know why, Ino? Sakura quietly asked, as if afraid to be heard. Her friend nodded. Okay, the truth is. Die demon scum. A voice screamed outside. Both girls bolted out of their chairs and looked towards outside the store where the shout came from. From the window they saw a bunch of Narutos fighting an Anbu in the street. One of them knocked on the door. Ino, you there? I need to see your father. Now. Sakura reacted first and opened the door. Naruto, what's going on? Some crazy shit's going on and the Anbu are turning against the Hokage. I'm trying to find all the ones who aren't and all the clan heads too. Where's Yamanaka-san? He's out with my mom. Ino answered, still processing all this. Where? The sooner I find him, the better. Naruto asked. I think they're either at the theater or at the Akimichi restaurant. Ino told him. Thanks. Naruto said before turning around and heading back out, avoid the Anbu who now gave chase. Ino was wide-eyed. The Anbu are rebelling. Why? I don't know, but that's not all. I don't know how to explain it, but I could swear Naruto had a tail. Sakura stated. Hinata was about to get ready for a bath then bed when she heard something at her window. Immediately worried, she instinctively activated her Byakugan and saw Naruto perched on her windowsill. Naruto-kun, she asked as she opened the window. What's wrong? Hinata-chan, I can't stay long. Please get your father and tell him the Anbu are rebelling and the Hokage needs his help immediately to keep them from succeeding. Can you do this? Hinata silently gasped then nodded. Of course I will, Naruto-kun. Thanks. I better get going before anyone dispels me. Just promise me you'll stay safe. Naruto said before giving her a light kiss then leaving, without waiting for her to respond. Naruto-kun, good luck, and please stay safe too. She told herself before heading towards her father. Tsunade did the best diagnostic scan she knew over Shinju, only to find the results everyone feared were true. I'm sorry, but she's gone. Moegi broke out in tears, and Tsunade had a night duty nurse take the body to the morgue. She then looked at Naruto. Naruto, I need to get to the Hokage Tower to get control of this situation. Please get this girl somewhere safe, then get to the tower right away. And while you're at it, try to hide that tail. It's likely to only create more problems in the ninja, and that's the last thing we need. Naruto nodded and tucked his new tail under his orange top as best he could before lifting Moegi onto his back. This put a lot of weight on his tail, which ached, but he ignored it. Where should I take her? Her place might be a target now, and my place is even unsafer under the circumstances. How about Konohamaru's? That might work. The whiskered blonde immediately took off to the youngest Sarutobi's house. Tsunade at the same time headed towards the Hokage Tower. Who's behind this? That Anbu talked like he was enjoying this, but I don't believe he was doing this uncourse. Someone put him up to this, someone who wanted me and Naruto out of the picture. And since they're acting now, that can only mean this is connected to the Uchiha's betrayal. In that case, this must mean someone on the civilian council does not like my ruling and is willing to break the law to get what they want, and even a good portion of the shinobi are on their side. Bunch of egotistical. Along the way, one of Naruto's clones came up to her. Ba-chan, I think you may want to see this. It's what made me come to you right away tonight. The clone held out the letter that Shinju had given Naruto earlier and was left behind in the training field, until a clone went to retrieve it. Thanks, Naruto. Now get back out there and find help. Tsunade told the clone, who quickly departed. She read the letter, and saw read. Naruto Uzumaki, you are hereby stripped of your status as genin and effectively banned from ever having a claim to ninja title, rank, status, or property including equipment from this day forth per orders of the council. Reasons for this, which we are only giving because we're legally required to, not that an abomination such as yourself deserves such courtesy, are because you have proven yourself a threat in our eyes to our more competent and valuable shinobi, and you are influencing the younger generation in a bad way as well as controlling the Hokage somehow. Do not bother having your puppet Hokage get you out of this, as she is effective immediately removed from office too, and we will decide an appropriate replacement while she suffers for her crimes. It was signed, Council of Konoha, but there was only the civilian seal on it. The shinobi seal was completely absent. Oh, I'm going to tear these assholes a new one. And then I'm going to get started on the serious beating. Suddenly, she stopped. Or maybe, I could make this work to my advantage. Tsunade-sama, Shizune asked, seeing her mentor stop walking. Shizune, how long does it take to mend a broken body? Tsunade asked casually, resuming her walk. Shizune and Taunton were immediately confused. It depends on the extent of the damage and the effectiveness of the treatment given. True. And how long does it take to mend a broken ego? The slug Sanin added. The brunette and pig were even more confused now. That cannot be treated by anything less than time and acceptance of the situation that bruised it. Tsunade-sama, what are you getting at? We're in a serious situation here. I know, which is why I'm asking this. Tell me, Shizune, what's crueler to do to someone with a superiority complex? Break some bones, or break their prides? Milady, stop speaking in riddles. Alright, but I'll have to tell you the rest later when we get to the office. Thanks to Naruto's clones, all the clan heads and some of the Anbu were brought to Tsunade's office. Okay everyone, we've got a crisis here. Not more than 30 minutes ago I was attacked in my own home by our own Anbu, led by the current head of the department. He declared me removed from office and under arrest and quarantine as if he had the authority to do such a thing. Naruto got warning of this and came to help me out, and under my orders gathered you all here. Any idea who is behind this, Hokage-sama? Shikaku asked. Tsunade showed him the notice. This was given to Naruto while he was recovering in the hospital and brought to me by him while the Anbu were attempting to catch me off guard. You tell me who looks like the responsible party. The notice was passed between a growing number of maddening shinobi all ranked Junin or higher. The nerve of these bastards. If I had hellhounds, I'd sick them on them all right now. Tsunade growled. What are your orders, Hokage-sama? Hiashi asked. Tsunade smirked. If I'm removed from office, I can't give orders, can I? All the ninja, including Shizune, were caught by surprise by that remark. Excuse me? Inoichi asked. I didn't come back to this village to get bossed around by idiots with more ego than courage or common sense. Some people here, I'm assuming most of the civilian council, if not all of them, are trying to claim authority they don't have, and apparently some of the shinobi are on their side. Since each clan has active members in the Anbu ranks, I need to know right this instant who here approves of the idea that Konoha is better off with new leadership. Tsunade said, her gaze sharp enough to cut steel at the end. None of them argued with her. Hokage-sama, we support you. You can do the job well rather than some figurehead leader that the civilians would favor but would barely know how to do the job right. So what do you plan to do about this? Shikaku told her. The problem is deciding what to do when considering the consequences. Not too long ago we were invaded, and that alone makes us vulnerable to our enemies. An internal struggle over leadership and control of our ninja will only make the village a bigger target. With that in mind, a decision must be reached and achieved immediately for best results. Shibi stated. Tsunade nodded. Which is why I have an idea that may work. It's a long shot, and I know I'm not the best gambler, but this might just work for us. The others were interested to hear what she was going to say. Naruto brought Moegi to Konohamaru's home, and after assured she was going to be safe, went back out to find Tsunade. I guess the people who hate me ran out of patience and are finally doing something about it. Well, I always knew this day might come. I just wish I could have had more time with Hinata-chan. I'll miss her, but at least she'll be safe. And he was cut off by a cluster of poorly aimed kunais coming at him from his left. He stopped and looked left, seeing an alley in between two buildings. He saw someone hiding in the shadows. Who the hell are you? Naruto shouted. The figure turned and ran off. Hey, I'm talking to you. He ran after the hidden attacker, despite his inner guts warning him not to. Out of the shadows, Naruto could see his surprise assaulter was dressed in black with a gray vest, reminding him of normal high-ranked ninja attire. Thinking quickly, Naruto formed a clone and got a Rasengan started on the run. Once it was done, they both jumped at the clone, grabbed Naruto and spun him around to give him momentum before throwing him towards the running nin. The Rasengan made impact in the ninja's back, causing a decent amount of damage and making him fall forward. Naruto grabbed the back of his collar and turned him around. Tell me who you're working for. The attacker turned out to be a man about 6 or so years older than Naruto, with dark gray hair and dull green eyes but no expression on his face, though there was a bitter mirth in his eyes. You'll never know, for you've fallen for my trap. All of a sudden 6 more ninja dressed identically and looking as stoic as the first one appeared surrounding Naruto. Come with us, Uzumaki. If you surrender, you will live but be put to proper use. Refuse and you will go to hell with the other demons. One of the 6 surrounders told him. I don't surrender. Now or ever, Naruto said before forming his favorite hand sign. All the gray-vested shinobi threw kunais at him, but luckily Naruto formed enough clones to take the hits for him. Unfortunately, they were prepared for this and threw a second wave, hitting Naruto this time. He remained on his feet, but his body was already sore and taxed from all the recent activity after healing from his severe injuries. It's a shame. You would have made a great weapon, but unfortunately you're a hard fox to domesticate. One of the ninja with long brown hair stated, pulling out a tanto with his comrades doing the same as if hoping to finish the job now. All of a sudden, the air pressure increased. It was like the feeling one got when exposed to a great amount of ki, only this time it had a physical effect to it as well. Their bodies felt like something was crushing down upon them and their vision got darker and slightly blurrier. Naruto appeared fine but confused when his ambushers suddenly fell to their knees. What is this? The brown-haired one asked. Naruto looked around. unable to feel anything different, until he heard a thud behind him. He turned and saw someone new appeared. Naruto. The newcomer asked. It was the woman he saw at the Valley of the End, the one who claimed to be his mother. Naruto himself was unsure how to react. Here was the woman who came to him in a strange vision just the other day, calling herself his mother. Part of Naruto wanted to believe this really was his mother returned from wherever she had been, but another part of him was certain this was some kind of trick. That part was the part that was winning in his mental struggle, mostly for one reason. If you're my mom, where have you been all this time? Naruto suddenly asked, sounding a bit harsh, but it was understandable. Name one orphan who wouldn't ask that when someone claiming to be their mother suddenly showed up after over a decade of being apart. Kushina looked sad, not hurt sad but more apologetic sad. I promise you Naruto, I will tell you everything, but right here right now is not the best time. Then I'm going to get someone to confirm your identity. Naruto said. Kushina nodded. That's fair. Her eyes widened when she saw his new tail. You've got your tail. She then smiled. That's terrific. Naruto was surprised. Why is that? And why did you say your tail and not a tail? Kushina turned around. Suddenly a tail of her own appeared from the end of her spine just like Naruto. The only difference was hers was a little longer and the end was shaped more like a heart than a spearhead. These are normal for our kind. But more on that later. She turned around and the tail disappeared. Our kind? Naruto asked, still surprised. What are you? What am I? More on that later Naruto. Now, is something going on here or not? Now Naruto remembered what he had been doing. Oh right. Ba-chan's got a crisis. I should probably get back to her now. Is it alright if I come with you? Kushina asked. Right now I'd prefer it. Naruto answered, before both headed towards the Hokage Tower. You can't be serious. Tsume said after Tsunade finished explaining her idea. All of the other ninja looked shocked by it too. Tsunade nodded. I know it's a risk, but it's the only way to drive the point across and ensure something like this doesn't happen again. Can anyone think up a better idea? Yes. Remove the civilian council from power and put new members in their place. Shikaku told her. The Hokage shook her head. There's no way of knowing just how far the influence of the civilian goes. Look outside, some of the shinobi are taking orders from them, and it's likely that's not all. They likely already have a contingency plan for if they ever are removed from power and can influence their replacements. Your suggestion, while fitting, is mostly a band-aid idea, and we need something that does more than soothes the problem. Your idea will only make things worse. Inoichi told her. Tsunade looked undaunted. Sometimes things have to get worse before they get better. Shibi spoke up. Hokage-sama, I will admit that if your idea works, the problem will effectively be eliminated, but how can you ensure it will work? And what do you have planned in case things do not go as expected? I admit this will make Konoha a bit of a target to others, but that is while I will be working on my contingency plan in the meantime. It will take me some time, but during that time Konoha should not ruin itself to the point of destruction. If it does, then as shinobi I hope you do the smart thing. When I have everything set up, I will contact all the clan heads and tell them to begin their part and inform everyone they know who supports our cause. This is still risky, but I can't help but feel you may succeed. Shuza stated, crossing his arms. That's the spirit, Tsunade said with a smile. Hiyashi sighed. Since we apparently cannot change your mind on this, who will accompany you in this endeavor? I'm thinking my apprentice and Naruto for starters to minimize suspicion. Since it is hard to guarantee anyone's loyalty right now, I'm afraid I will not be able to get much more right away. Kakashi stepped forward. If I may Hokage-sama, I ask that you consider taking my other student Sakura too. Will you not be able to train her yourself Kakashi? Tsunade asked. I could, but I'm concerned that someone is going to try to get Sasuke out of prison and absolve him of anything he's being charged with. Such an event would require my uninterrupted attention so I could take immediate action. Plus, It would help to get Sakura away from her parents. I've heard they are both strong supporters of the civilian council, so if things happen as you predict, they will try to drag Sakura into the problem. Interesting point. I will look into the possibility. Tsunade told him. Okay everyone, you know your roles in this. Start as soon as possible. Dismissed. Everyone nodded, even if a bit reluctantly, then left the office. Out in the streets, the chaos appeared to have died down and there were no more Naruto clones running around chasing or fighting Anbu Nin. Some Anbu ninja were still out, but it was impossible to tell what they were doing. They were likely looking for Naruto, but to what end was a mystery to everyone except themselves. Sakura and Ino were out looking for Naruto too. Actually, Sakura was looking for him and Ino was mostly following Sakura. After Naruto's clone left the Yamanaka shop, the two girls were concerned about what was going on. Ino could have waited for her parents to return home, but Sakura couldn't and wanted to find Naruto to see what was going on and if she could help out. He had to be far from his best given he had been at the hospital only hours ago. Sakura, stop. Ino called out, only to be ignored. Even if you do find Naruto, what do you plan to accomplish? More than I would if I stand around and wait for it to be over. Sakura replied, tears in her eyes. As soon as I saw Naruto all bandaged up like that, I promised that no one would have to suffer because I was too weak to contribute anything on my own part. I can't let Naruto get in danger again while I stand back and just watch. I have to do something. Both Kunoichi had to stop and catch their breaths, leaning against a building as they did so. Do you have any idea where he even is? Ino asked as she panted. I think the hospital is a good place to start, and if he's not there we can find Hinata. She should find him quicker than we ever could. Sakura answered. Then why not go to her first? Ino asked. No need to worry her until we know whether or not Naruto's at the hospital. The Pinkett answered before running out again. Ino groaned and followed again. Ironically, when they turned a corner, they saw Hinata out heading towards the Hokage Tower. Hinata, Sakura called out. The Hyuga heiress turned to face the other two girls but didn't stop moving. Sakura, Ino, what are you two doing? The same thing you likely are. Looking for Naruto. Sakura answered. Hinata nodded, and now Sakura and Ino could see her Byakugan was active. I'm concerned too. A clone of his came by to warn me, but I couldn't stay away knowing he'd be in danger. Right now he's heading towards the Hokage and there's a woman I've never seen before accompanying him. So Hinata, is it true you and Naruto are? Ino started. Now's not the time, Ino. Sakura cut her off. Kakashi went out to find Naruto and bring him to Tsunade. Fortunately, Naruto ended up inadvertently coming to him. Kakashi-sensei. The cycloptic Junin stopped in front of his student. Naruto, Hokage-sama needs. He stopped when he saw the woman behind the whiskered blonde. Kushina, is that really you? Hey Kakashi, it's been a while. The red-haired woman told her husband's student. So you really did contact Naruto earlier when he said you did? Kushina nodded. I would have been here sooner, but I misjudged the distance to Konoha. Also I found something that briefly tied me up. Anyway, wasn't there something you were trying to tell my son? Kakashi-sensei, is she really my mom? Naruto asked, sounding desperate for an answer. Kakashi looked at Kushina, looking for any indication that she was not the real deal. Kushina smiled. I caught you kissing Rin-chan without your mask in the alley behind the theater one night in the summer while you two were still chunin. Okay, you're the real Kushina. Kakashi stated. So Naruto, that means that she really is your mother. Naruto looked up at the woman in wonder and uncertainly, like he didn't know what really to feel right now. But we've covered that later. Naruto, Hokage-sama really needs to see you now. Are you the real Naruto? The blonde nodded. Good. Follow me back to her. Kushina, please come along. Kushina and Naruto then followed Kakashi, but he wasn't taking them to the Hokage Tower. Hey Kakashi-sensei, where are you going? Naruto asked. I'm taking you to the Hokage Naruto. I never said where she was, did I? Hinata suddenly changed directions. Now he's going this way. This is good. We can catch up to him sooner like this. This direction took them to outside the Forest of Death, where Tsunade, Shizune, and Taunton were waiting. Standing back being covered in the foliage, they saw Naruto, Kakashi, and a woman they never saw before appear before them. Tsunade faltered when she saw the redhead. Kushina. Impossible. Hi you old bat. The years have not been kind to you. Kushina greeted with a grin and teasing tone but a friendly wave. Tsunade got mad and reflexively threw a punch. Completely calm, Kushina kept her waving hand up and blocked the hit, looking and acting like she was catching a ball being tossed to her. Naruto and Shizune dropped their jaws at this sight. Tsunade pulled her fist back. Only one person has ever been able to block me like that. You are Kushina. Where have you been, you teasing tomboy? I've been fighting a war just to gain the right to come back here, among other reasons. But more on that later. What's going on here tonight? A war, Tsunade repeated, then frowned. You're lying. Such news could not possibly be kept secret. Tell me the truth, Kushina. I'm not lying. I was in a war. Just not here in the elemental nations. I was in another kingdom fighting to get the tyrant out of power. I'm only able to be here now because the fighting is over and I want to see my son. Kushina defended. Well, fighting just started up here and we better get Naruto out of the danger zone. The slug Sanin told her. What? But I can help out. Naruto stated. Naruto, the best way you can help out is to not get involved. Shizune told the young boy. Taunton oinked in agreement. You will have to explain yourself, Kushina, but for now, Kakashi, go find Sakura and bring her here if you want her to be a part of this. Tsunade said. Before Kakashi could move, Sakura emerged from her hiding spot. I'm here. What do you need me for? She called out. Sakura, what are you doing here? And how did you find us? Kakashi asked. I was concerned about what Naruto was getting involved in. Sakura answered. Hinata stepped out too. Me too. And I led her to Naruto-kun. She looked like she was expecting to be punished for this. Anyone else with you? Kakashi asked, eyeing the bushes. Ino came out. Just me. I tagged along. You and Hinata should go home right now. Kakashi ordered. Why? Ino asked. Because you wouldn't have any role here. The cycloptic Junin told the blonde mindwalker. You girls better say goodbye to Naruto now because this will be the last time you'll see him for a long time. Tsunade told the two heiresses, trying to be considerate. Hinata looked shocked. No, she shouted as she lunged at Naruto, engulfing him in a hug. I just got him. You can't take him away so soon like this. Hinata-chan. Naruto started, but stopped when she tearfully gazed at him. Take me with you, Naruto-kun. Please. She asked in a way that would break most people's resolve and with eyes that would even make the puppy-eyed jutsu cave in. Naruto looked at Tsunade, who sighed. Hinata, I haven't even told Naruto about this mission. Sakura can go because of certain circumstances, but those don't apply to you. She looked at Ino. Ino Yamanaka, please return home. Ino left, albeit reluctantly, but Hinata refused to budge. Kushina smiled and stepped up to the brunette. Hi there, little lady. Are you my future daughter-in-law? Hinata blushed so much you'd swear every drop of blood in her body was in her face. Kushina laughed lightly as the Hyuga fainted in Naruto's arms. She must really like you to react like that, son. Most girls would deny it. Sakura turned to Tsunade. Hokage-sama, what's going on? Listen everyone, because I don't want to repeat myself and we need to get out of here as soon as possible. Tsunade said, gaining everyone's attention. Hinata subconsciously snuggled closer into Naruto's chest, looking quite comfortable. Naruto, you're in danger here in Konoha, and this time the ones behind it are not stopping until they get what they want. I'm going to get you out of Konoha until they lose some steam. This may take a while though, so you better go pack for a long trip. Naruto shrugged. No need. My house was burned down apparently while I was heading to yours. My clones found out while they were running around. Tsunade arched an eyebrow. That could explain why the Anbu didn't immediately come to my aid, but that can't be the entire reason. So all you have left is on your person? Naruto shook his head. I've been prepared for a long time for the day I ever had to leave Konoha like this. I've got supplies hidden around in case my home was ever destroyed like this. I'll be fine. Tsunade smiled. Nice thinking, Gaki. Sakura was surprised. For years you thought you might be forced out of Konoha, Naruto. Sakura, even you must know I'm not exactly the most liked person in town. I hoped they would learn to get over it and accept me, but I was prepared for the possibility they wouldn't and I would have to run or die. Hope for the best but prepare for the worst, like Iruka-sensei said in class. The whiskered blonde told his teammate. Kushina looked confused. What do you mean, son? More on that later, Kushina. For now, let's get going. Kakashi, you know what to do. Sakura, you wish to come and learn under us? Tsunade said. The Pinkett was surprised. Me? But why? Am I in danger too? Kakashi nodded. In a way you are Sakura. You are his teammates, so the ones after him may target you as a means to get to him. If you go with them you cannot be targeted and you can learn under Tsunade-sama at the same time. Sakura turned to the blonde Hokage. But who will watch over Konoha while you're gone? I'll tell you after we're away from prying ears. Do you accept? Tsunade told the young girl. Sakura thought it over for a moment, looking at Naruto as she did. Alright, I will, but on one condition. Hinata goes with Naruto. The adults and even Naruto gave her a questioning look. You said I'd be in danger because I'm his teammate. Wouldn't his girlfriend be an even bigger target? She's got a point, Ba-chan. Naruto stated. Kushina smiled. I don't mind my son's girlfriend being with him. It could make things easier for him to understand. Understand what? Tsunade and Naruto asked. Away from prying ears. Kushina said, using Tsunade's excuse. Tsunade sighed. Fine. We'll wait to hear from Kushina and we'll take Hinata along. Kakashi, go inform Hiashi about this. When I find a stable location, I'll send word to you so you will be able to correspond. Any questions? What do we do if we need you immediately? Kakashi asked. An immediate return would be impossible for me, so delay the issue as much as possible and improvise if you have to. The slug Sanin told the Junin. Kakashi nodded and left. So where are we going? Naruto asked. Go get your provisions, then we'll talk. Suan told him. I know a good place you can hide. Kushina offered. My idea first. You still have to explain yourself before we go anywhere you recommend, Kushina. Tsunade claimed forcefully. Fair enough. Should I go home and get some stuff? Sakura asked. Tsunade shook her head. Probably not a good idea, unless there's something there you have to have or can't do without. She then faced Naruto. Naruto, how much did you stash away? Enough to feed and help myself for 6 months. Maybe a month or 2 for all of us if we use it carefully. Good. Sakura, if you can, be discreet about it. Shizune, accompany her and bring her to the top of the monument when you're done. We'll be there waiting. Yes, milady. Shizune told her mentor. With that, Tsunade, Kushina, Naruto, and a still unconscious Hinata heading to Naruto's secret stash while Shizune, Sakura, and Taunton headed to the Pinkett's home. It didn't take long for Shizune and Sakura to reach the Genin Kunoichi's home. The lights were off, telling them her parents were either out or sleeping. What are you going to tell them if you see them? Shizune whispered. Sakura shrugged. Not sure. The truth, I guess. Mind telling me why exactly you're going with us? Shizune asked. Not that I mind it, but I am curious. Let's get this over with first. Shizune nodded. I'll wait out here. You know what to do. Sakura nodded and went inside. I wonder how long it's going to be before I come back. Will I even be able to come back? She silently walked through the front room of her small house. No, don't think like that. Of course I will be back someday. I'm not going to leave Konoha forever, Just until this revolution thing ends and Naruto's out of harm's way. I just hope mom and dad stay safe too. She carefully went up the stairs, using her chakra to stick to the walls rather than risk making too much noise. I guess I don't want mom and dad to ask me what's going on. I shouldn't just disappear, so maybe I should write a note for them. Yeah, that'll work. On the upper level, Sakura quietly got to her room and went inside. Her mission-ready gear was within immediate access, contained within a pink and white backpack. Grabbing it, she confirmed its contents. Kunais, check. Shuriken, check. Rations, check. First aid, check. Spare money, check. Change of clothes, check. Better bring along another set just to be sure. Bathroom products, check. Reading material, check. I guess all I need to do is grab some extra clothes and food and I'm good. Her door opened up, making her freeze, but she turned to see her father standing there in his dark blue pajamas. Akihiro Haruno was a tall, lean man with pale hair, enough that you'd swear it was white, and the same green eyes Sakura had. He was no shinobi, instead he worked at the hospital as a technician. Sakura, what are you doing? Hi daddy, Sakura replied, sounding caught. I'm just getting ready. Hokage-sama assigned my team a mission that we have to start under the cover of night, so I need to get going. Akihiro shook his head. I saw the records. One of your teammates is still in care and the other just got out no less than 4 hours ago. Where are you really going? It's the truth. Hokage-sama's assistant is right outside waiting. You can ask her yourself. Akihiro still looked unconvinced. Why not your sensei? Where's he? I don't know. Probably getting ready too. Akihiro looked right at his daughter, making her feel uncomfortable. Sakura dear, I may not be shinobi, but I'm not gullible either. What are you really doing? Sakura frowned. I'm telling you the truth, Dad. Hokage-sama has an assignment for me and Naruto that we must start tonight. Why don't you believe me? I heard a lot of commotion outside and your mother and I were worried since you weren't home yet. We've been waiting with the lights out to avoid drawing attention here all this time for you to get back, and now that you have, you're heading out again to do an errand for the Hokage. Surely she has more sense than to send 2 genin out while there's a conflict going on here in Konoha. From behind him, Sakura's mother Mariko Haruno appeared, wearing a white bathrobe. She looked like an adult version of Sakura but with dull blue eyes and her pink hair worn in a braid. Sakura, where have you been? Mom, Dad, I'm only saying this once. I have to go away for a while. I don't know when I'll get back, but I will when I'm able to. Sakura told them, trying to avoid telling them the real nature of what she was doing. This sounds too fishy to me. I want to hear from the Hokage about this first. Akihiro stated. She's busy right now, but you can talk to her assistant right now. Not good enough. I want to hear from the Hokage directly. Akihiro announced firmly, crossing his arms. Sakura held in a sigh. That's not up to you. Look, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry but I'm in a hurry. I love you, but I have to go. But why? Mariko asked. Sakura now sighed. All I'm allowed to tell you is it's for my own good and I need to do this to help my teammate. Mariko held her daughter. Stay safe dear and try to come back soon. Sakura hugged her mother back. I'll stay safe, but I can't promise to come back soon. I could be gone for a long time. What? No, you can't. This is your home, you can't just leave it. Her mother said, pulling back to face her. Sakura sended a single tear. Mom, I'm going to miss you both, but I have to do this. Why? Both her parents asked. Sakura closed her eyes and took a deep breath. I can't tell you anything. For the time being, you'll both be safer if you don't know. Just please believe me when I say I will be safe and I will come back someday. Akihiro's gaze softened. This isn't a normal mission, is it? Sakura nodded her head. And you can't turn it down. Sakura shook her head this time. And you want to go on this even if you could reject it? Sakura was slower to react this time, but she nodded. Mariko tightened her hold on her daughter, as if afraid or unwilling to let her go. Please, sweetheart, don't do this. Sakura pushed her mother away a bit. Mom, I told you, I have to do this. I don't have the time to tell you everything, just trust me when I say I need to do this. Maybe later I can send word to you on how I am and a better explanation, but tonight, let's just leave it at this. Mariko pulled away and pulled a dark red ribbon out of her hair that she put in at night to keep it from going all over the place and irritating her husband. Sakura, keep this with you. As a reminder of us and your promise to come back as soon as possible. Tentatively, the young genin accepted the offered ribbon and put it in her pack. Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad. I love you both. She hugged them one more time and went downstairs. Mariko embraced her husband for support. Do you think we're doing the right thing by not putting our foot down? Akihiro shrugged. Maybe we should have. But sadly we're not the only authority figures in our daughter's life anymore and we have to trust her to know what orders to follow and what ones not to. He put his arms around his distraught wife. Come on, let's get back to bed. All we can do is hope for the best. Mom, Ba-chan, Naruto called out. What is it, son? Kushina asked, bringing them to a stop. Before we go, there are two people I have to see. I owe it to them to let them know I'm not going to be around anymore. The whiskered blonde told the group. We don't have too much time, but if it's really important, Naruto, then make it quick. Suan told him. I'll be at the top of the monument. Kushina, you come with me. Hinata, you go with Naruto to keep an eye out for him. The genin nodded, and although Kushina looked reluctant to obey, she did not argue. Then the two teens broke away and headed back into the village. Where are we going, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. I need to see Moegi and the Ichirakus. I can't just leave without saying goodbye, not to them. Moegi is closest, so I'll get to her first. Why her? Hinata asked, not objecting, just wondering. Naruto struggled to answer. Her mother died tonight and her dying wish for me to keep an eye on her. If I can't be here to do that, I need to tell her why. Would you like to let your family know about you while we're at it? Hinata shook her head. No, I don't. If I did, they'd try to stop me and they'd likely succeed. It's best if we just ignore them. Before more could be said, the pair arrived at Konohamaru's house. Naruto knocked at the door and Konohamaru's mother answered the door. Welcome back, Naruto. Is something wrong? Boss. Moegi screamed, running right to the orange-clad ninja. You okay, Moegi? Naruto asked. The orange-haired girl nodded. I'm just afraid of being away from you right now. You're strong enough to keep the enemies away. Naruto was afraid to burst her bubble right then, but had no choice. Moegi, I'm going to have to go away to make sure they stay away. So I won't be around here to keep you safe for a long time. Moegi was wide-eyed. What? No. Don't go, boss. I need you. Konohamaru was equally surprised. You can't go, boss. Konoha needs you here to become Hokage. I know, Konohamaru, but Konoha unfortunately doesn't want me here for the time being, and they're going to try to kick me out or maybe even kill me. I have to leave until they change their mind. Naruto explained. Can I go? Moegi asked. Naruto shook his head. I'm afraid not, Moegi. Why not? I'm all alone here. Where will I go? Naruto looked at the Sarutobis. Could you watch over her? Konohamaru's mother shook her head. Maybe for a night or two, but nothing long term. It's not that we don't want to, but we don't have the room or money to. Hinata looked at the young girl. Do you have any other family? Moegi shook her head. I was adopted. Unless boss takes me with him, I'm going to have to go back to the orphanage. Naruto cringed. That was a fate he wouldn't wish on anyone. I don't know what to do, but maybe Ba-chan would. You want to go ask her? Moegi nodded and Naruto faced Konohamaru's mother. Thanks for watching her. If I don't bring her back tonight, just know she'll be in good hands. Hey, can't I go where you're going, boss? Konohamaru asked. Naruto shook his head. Sorry, Squirt. Your mother needs you and I need someone I can trust to keep an eye on Konoha while I am away. Plus someone has to tell Udon everything, right? The young boy sighed then stood diligently. I'll do what I can to make this town see it needs you, boss. Thanks, Konohamaru. I'm counting on you. After saying goodbye to Konohamaru's family, Naruto created a clone and had it take Moegi home to gather a few things she wanted to keep on her before heading to Tsunade. During that time he and Hinata headed to Ichiraku's ramen. Naruto was quite surprised to see the lights on. Maybe they're pulling a late shift tonight. He thought aloud before entering. Old man, Ayame ne-chan. Naruto. Tsuki and Ayame called out before coming out of the kitchen. You alright? Naruto nodded. Yeah, I'm okay. Despite this weird thing. He then held out his tail. The ramen chefs gasped. What is that? Some strange tail that appeared tonight while I was fighting. Even weirder. My mom showed up today and she even has one too. Naruto answered. Hinata looked at him. She has one too. I didn't see one. She can apparently hide it. I don't know what's going on here. How do we know you're really Naruto then? Tsuki cautiously asked. Who else would ask to eat their own weight in ramen and ask if you had a scale to determine how much ramen that really would be? Ayame smiled. Good enough for me. We thought you might show up with all those clones we saw in the streets. What's going on? To put it short, I'm going to have to flee town for a while. Naruto told them. Tsuki made an understanding sound. So it's finally come, Naruto nodded. Looks like it. I wanted to say goodbye since you guys have been like family to me. Speaking of family, could I go see your mom? There's something I'd like to ask her while she's here. Ayame asked, a stern look in her eyes. I guess, though we have to move fast. Ayame smiled. No problem. Just let me get ready. I'll be a moment. She then turned and went in back. Tsuki looked at the young boy he considered the son he never had. Where will you go, Naruto? That wave country you told me about? Likely. It's nearby and somewhere I know I'd be welcome in. Hinata tapped his shoulder to get his attention. Naruto-kun, maybe you should think of somewhere else. If any hunter nin are sent after us, that might be the first place they'd search. Really? Naruto asked. Actually that makes sense. Tsuki added. Ayame appeared. I'm all set. Naruto was surprised to see her. She wasn't dressed in her ramen server outfit, probably the only thing Naruto had ever seen her wear. This time Ayame dressed an awful lot like Anko, wearing a black open jacket with a dark purple mesh shirt underneath that almost made her bust look half a cup size bigger than her normal outfit led others to believe. She wore skin-tight black leggings under a black skirt with a blue belt and a ninja tool pouch strapped to her right thigh. On her back was a purple backpack. There. I'm ready. For what? Naruto asked, not expecting this. If I'm going to see your mother Naruto, I want to make a good impression on her. As well as show her I'm no pushover. Ayame calmly explained. Are you expecting to fight her? Hinata asked, quite surprised. No, but if she says something that will make me want to kick her then I'm sure as hell not going to do it dressed as a chef. The brunette told the younger girl. We should get going now though. Old man, thank you for everything, and be ready to really get to work when I come back. Naruto told Tsuki. The old man nodded. Will do. He then shared a knowing look with his daughter who nodded, as if they silently came to a conclusion that two genin didn't understand. Rather than worry about it, they both left the ramen stand with Ayame following them, moving with the grace and speed of an experienced kunoichi. Naruto-kun, you never said she was a shinobi. Hinata mentioned. It never came up. Besides, she resigned years ago. I'm not sure why. She just said she was mad at someone and refused to do more work so she quit and started working with her dad. I asked why but she always told me not to worry about it. Naruto told her. How good is she? Hinata asked. Naruto thought it over. Let me put it this way. When she tells me I've had enough ramen to eat, I don't argue anymore. While still a vague answer, Hinata knew it had big implications. She can actually make him stop eating ramen. Holy crap. Tsunade and Kushina were on top of the monument discussing something when Sakura, Shizune, Naruto, and Hinata showed up. Both older women were surprised to see two extras accompanying them. Naruto, who are they? Tsunade asked. Ayame walked to Kushina. I'm assuming you're Naruto's mother. Kushina nodded. Yes, I am. Are you one of my sons? She was cut off by a solid punch to her jaw that knocked her on her. Bitch, where the have you been all this time? Ayame yelled at the redhead, surprising those around her. Ayame ne-chan. Naruto called out in shock, but the brunette paid it no mind. Kushina got back on her feet and glared back at the ramen chef. That was unwise, brat. Ayame refused to back down. You've been gone for 12 years, leaving this poor boy all alone in the world, and now you decide to come back and be a part of his life. Not while I'm around. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't kick you for leaving Naruto alone like that. Kushina smiled. You care about him, don't you? He's practically family to me and probably the only decent boy I know of any age. Now answer my question, damn it. Kushina looked at Naruto and smiled. I like this one, Naruto. Fierce and not afraid to defend her turf. Don't lose this one. Everyone was confused. What? Never mind this. Naruto, why did you bring others here? Tsunade asked. Ayame ne-chan wanted to see my mom, and Moegi here has nowhere to go. You saw what happened earlier, so I can't just ignore her. What should she do? Tsunade knelt down to look at the young girl who was clinging to Naruto. Do you have any family to stay with? Moegi shook her head. I was adopted and mom never mentioned any other family. Please don't send me back to the orphanage. I don't want to be orphaned twice. Why not bring her along? Kushina suggested, catching everyone's attention. I don't see why not. Tsunade shook her head. Not the best idea. It could slow us down and make us more vulnerable to anyone who wanted to do harm to us. Got a better idea? Because so far I only see 3 options. With us, in the orphanage, or find a new guardian right now. Kushina asked. Finding a new legal guardian right then was definitely impossible for Tsunade. The Anbu were disorganized and it was impossible to tell for sure where everyone's loyalties lay. Not to mention it would look suspicious if Tsunade was in a hurry to give one girl a home within an hour. Tsunade sighed and got back up on her feet. I still don't think bringing her with us is a good idea, however leaving her doesn't sound any better. Just do what we say, little lady, understand? Moegi smiled and nodded. Yes, ma'am. So where are we going? Sakura asked. Hinata-chan says we shouldn't go anyplace we've already been, like wave or tea or snow. Naruto stated. Shizune nodded. Yes, and even though we could probably catch up to the 3 from Suna who are going home, it would be unwise to get them involved in this mess. Tsunade snapped her fingers. I know the perfect place to head to for now anyways. Where? Everyone asked.